Jody, a very good morning to you. You are in Plet at the moment. What is the situation there?
Well, good morning to you, Veka. Just a few minutes ago, I touched base with a spokesperson for the Plettenberg municipality. That's the municipality in which Plettenberg Bay falls. They've been up all night monitoring the situation. We know by late yesterday afternoon the fires had spread and left Knysna and moved all the way up towards Plettenberg Bay. They now can confirm that around 25 structures are confirmed to have been destroyed by the fire. They say that there are still many unconfirmed reports as well, so many more structures. They're going to try and tally those up during the course of this morning. While they're saying that there aren't massive flames around the Plettenberg Bay area, there's still a lot of smouldering taking place, and they've got teams on the ground. They've now also asked for working on fire to come and assist here in Plettenberg Bay. They're hoping that they can do so this morning. Working on fire, as we know, has been working around the clock in the Knysna area, and they just did not have the manpower to be able to send those necessary assistance to Plettenberg Bay. But Plettenberg Bay has now requested and formally requested working on fire to come and assist them. But needless to say, the spokesperson says that they've got enough personnel on the ground to try and quell those fires and to douse them, and they're hoping that there won't be any other flare-ups. What I can see though, Uveka, is that the weather conditions have changed somewhat. It's very, very cold out here in the Southern Cape. Chilly conditions. There's no wind compared to what it was like yesterday morning when we first arrived in Knysna. So the wind has really died down, and I think that has been helping those firefighting efforts.
Jody, tell us about evacuations. We had been hearing late yesterday that in Plettenberg Bay, most people were evacuated earlier, but but some of them were returning to their homes. What's happening in terms of evacuations there?
Well, it seems a lot safer now here in Plettenberg Bay than what it was late yesterday afternoon. So there was those evacuations. Many people have slowly but surely started returning to their homes. We didn't see that massive fire come over into Plettenberg Bay, as was the scenes out in Knysna. So many people have returned home. It's a lot safer, according to the spokesperson of the Plettenberg municipality, but they of course continuing to monitor, and people have been urged to continue monitoring social media pages of the Plettenberg municipality, the Plettenberg Bay Residents Association. Monitor those Facebook pages, monitor the WhatsApp groups, because they will be sending out those alerts should these flare-ups take place, which they don't expect to happen anytime soon, because there is actually no wind in this area at the moment.
All right, and then, I mean, just give us an idea of what's been happening in Knysna while efforts continue in Plettenberg Bay there.
Well, Uveka, mopping up operations are now underway, and people are just trying to pick up the pieces down in Knysna. All of those sad stories coming out of there of people losing virtually everything. By late last night, we had everybody really from as far as Port Elizabeth and Cape Town coming to drop off all of those essentials, from clothing to food stuff, non-perishable goods, are all being stored in these massive warehouses out in Knysna as the community volunteers try and get that much needed assistance out to the communities that need it the most. But then also by late last night, we also got reports from the mayor of Knysna, who then informed us that there was about 4 new fires that started spreading out in the Knysna area. They were working throughout the night to try and contain those fires. She says that she's cautiously optimistic at this stage about the situation in Knysna, and she doesn't want to tell residents that it's all over just yet.
We know that they were getting help from the SANDF as well and all the extra firefighters, Jody, but at this stage, does it seem like they will actually be able to cope with this?
The mayor very confident that they'll be able to cope with it. They've got enough staff on the ground, she says. Working on fire has been out in their numbers to assist Knysna with their fire relief and their fire assistance. And she's saying that she's confident that they've got enough hands on the ground. But should the weather change and the wind come up again, that could be disastrous for that area. And she says that while they've managed to contain those 4 new fires that started last night, she doesn't want to tell people really that it's all over, because she says anything can happen. She says that is what happened on Wednesday afternoon. They had thought they had contained the fire, but within seconds the fire had spread and it had disastrous effects across the Knysna town.
Tell us what you know about relief efforts at the moment. We know lots of NGOs were sort of trying to get aid and relief to. It started with Knysna, and then of course now there with Plettenberg Bay. We know there were also concerns about on the other side the storm in Cape Town. Are they managing to get help and get aid to these people who have been evacuated, those who've lost their homes and actually can't go back and are being housed elsewhere?
For now, though, I think the relief efforts are the immediate needs of people, and that will be food, warm clothing, blankets, bedding. Those are the essentials. And I must say that driving through the town of Knysna yesterday, and you saw the amount of those basic needs and goods being brought into the town, was absolutely amazing. You saw truckloads of these goods being dropped off. At one stage there was one municipal container or municipal warehouse that was so full that they needed to go and find another one so that they could fill it up, or find space at least to fill it up with all the goods that was actually coming in. Also, local shop owners had opened up their doors, and people and the community were bringing in things every couple of seconds. So it's from non-perishable goods, people cooking soup, people bringing blankets, people bringing baby clothes, bringing baby toys. There was just an array of goods that were being dropped off. Even when we were leaving Knysna late last night, we could see these truckloads of goods that were bringing and essentials being brought into the town. So there's a lot of relief happening and a lot of camaraderie really from the community of Knysna as they are pulling together. One community member saying that it had to take a disaster like this, of this magnitude, to bring the community together, and there's no doubt that the community has joined hands, she said, in trying to assist those who are in need. I must say it's extremely cold, so one can only but imagine what it is like for people who now don't really have a roof over their head and it's been burnt to the ground, what it must be like for them, because while we are warm and padded up in our clothing, it's very hard to believe and to empathize with those people that have now lost everything in this very cold, chilly weather.
All right, thanks very much for that. We'll continue to get updates from you. Jody Jacobs there in Plettenberg Bay for us this morning.